What is up, disc golfers? Today on Iceberg TV, I want to talk about a few of the discs that have just been PDGA approved that I'm actually really looking forward to throwing, and some discs that I'm really excited about. The first disc that I want to talk about, I'm not as excited about, but I saw this picture on Facebook and I thought it was really funny and it reminded me of this movie scene. So I'll show you guys a little bit of that movie scene and then you'll have to go check it out for yourself to see what happens. So this is the NSH5 Swede from Noob Simhouse Custom Discs. Looks like it's got a nice serrated spiky edge here. Hopefully that's not actually how it is. I know they send these samples in to get flex tested and, you know, to see if the plastic and the mold meets the PDGA specifications, and maybe this happened somehow in the mail, but as we see it right now, the first thing we see is the nice, clean, serrated, spiky edge. And I had to bring up this movie scene right here. If you haven't seen it, go look up this video. We'll watch a little bit of it together and I'll let you guys finish it on your own.
Hey, Colleen, who's that turkey with you?
She's just a thrower.
Sorry, Buster, you ain't allowed here. Take off.
Sorry, Buster, you ain't allowed here. Take off.
Hey, lighten up, we're just throwing.
Oh, yeah? Let's see you throw one. How about you get lost?
What do you mean?
I mean it. Move out. Now. Hey, Colleen. Got a great ass.
So do you, Pilgrim.
You don't look so hot to me. Oh, yeah? You didn't catch this. Hey. Yeah, let's have it. This is for the Molokai cops.
And that is where we will not be showing the rest of the scene moving forward, but this scene with this disc right here reminds me of this disc right here, and I just thought it would be funny to show you guys that if you haven't seen it. So the next disc that I want to talk about is going to be the Votum from ThoughtSpace Athletics. The measurements look within like a half a centimeter to a centimeter within the realm of like a T-bird-ish disc. Again, you always have to get one in the hand to know what it's exactly going to be like, and people haven't talked about it too much because no one's really had it in their hands yet. So, but I compared it to the dimensions of a T-bird, and everything's within like a half a centimeter to a centimeter in most of the dimensions. So I think it's just going to be a nice overstable fairway driver. And why I'm excited about this disc, I actually really like ThoughtSpace Athletics discs. And I was throwing the Pathfinder really well and the Animus really well. And the Animus right here comes in and out of my bag. And I threw one of the biggest shots of my disc golf career with this exact disc. So the Animus, really good disc. I reviewed it. Go check it out if you haven't seen that video. But we'll go have a look at the video here. ThoughtSpace Athletics, they hooked me up with some discs and I actually really like them. And I bagged them in my biggest tournament win I've ever gotten. And this was the last shot of the final hole. The quality's bad, but you get the idea. Just a little forehand hyzer flipperino. You can see the disc just almost acing the final hole. And this shot was in fact to win the tournament. It was the last hole of the tournament. I had a good lead going into this hole, and getting this shot right here just secured the win. And we thought I aced it. And there was epic face right at the end of the clip here. So we'll have a look at this one more time. Flexing, ThoughtSpace Animus, getting that tournament win for us. So the ThoughtSpace Athletics Votum, we're really excited for it, and hopefully they hook me up and send me out one of these as well, because I really like their plastic and I really like everything they're doing over there. And they also make absolutely insane artwork. So with all that being said, I'm looking forward to the Votum ThoughtSpace Athletics. If you haven't seen my Animus or Pathfinder review, go check that out as well, just so you have an idea of what their discs are like. And the last two discs I'm looking forward to, I think they're the two biggest holes in Discmania's lineup currently that they are finally addressing. So they have the Discmania FD3, but for some case scenarios, you just need a wildly overstable utility disc that's obviously less overstable and dumpy than the Tilt, but more overstable than the FD3, but not as fast as a PD2. Players, like pro players, need that kind of disc in their bag. And Discmania pros were making it work with the FD3 and the PD2 and sometimes the Tilt, but now they've introduced the Splice, and Eagles was throwing this thing all over the course of the DDO. This thing's wildly overstable. He was crunching it on like this much anhyzer into headwinds and it was flexing out. I really like having a disc like this in my bag for forehand flex shots, and just it's always good to have that super wildly overstable headwind disc. So if you have a headwind, you know your disc's going to be 100% predictable. For me, that's my fourth circle tie pans. And if I threw as hard as Eagle, I might need something a little bit slower like the Splice. Right now I'm happy with my tie pans, but I'm still really curious to see what the Splice is like. Discmania also released the PD3, but people aren't throwing that. It's not the best disc, so they come out with the Splice, and hopefully the Splice kind of takes that super overstable utility slot, slightly more stable than the FD3, and I'm looking forward to getting my hands on one of these as well, so hopefully I get to check one of these out and give it a throw. Now the last disc I want to talk about is a disc that's been retooled to be more dumpy and more overstable than what it was, and people always told me I was crazy, and this gave me all the validation that I needed to know that I was right the entire time. The Discmania Tactic. I literally, from the second after I threw this 10 times, I was like, man, I wish this thing was more overstable. And people were like, oh, but look how flat it is, look how stable it is, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, nah, it needs to be more dumpy and more overstable, otherwise the pros will not be using this disc. If someone like me can identify that this isn't stable enough for what it's supposed to do, it didn't take long for Eagle to do that as well. And this is Eagle's signature disc, and he had it retooled, so he probably felt the same right out of the gate as well. So once they've sold all of the original tactics, they retooled the Razor Claw, and I believe you can only get the retooled one through the Eagles Tour Support Razor Claw, or Signature Series Razor Claw, however they'll be branding it. So they've retooled it, they've made it more overstable, they've made it more dumpy, and I've seen Eagle throw this as well, and if this new Razor Claw tactic, it flies like a Prodigy A2. And the Prodigy A2 is my overstable approach putter of choice, because no matter what angle you throw it on, anhyzer, hyzer, flat, it's always going to be overstable. Razor Claw tactic, hopefully they make it just like the A2, because that's what it looked like when Eagle was throwing it. Leave in the comment section down below which one of these discs are you excited for. Thank you for watching. This is Iceberg TV, and take care.